Let's get ready to rumble!
He's taken another one, and Howard Foster has stopped it! Wow!
This is Thomas Lyons from Reps on TV. Fortunate to be joined on this Wednesday evening on the phone by none other than the main man himself, Jack Ewbank. How's everything going, Jack?
Yes, Tom, what's happening, man?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good, and even better to hear from you. And yeah, just get straight into it, Jack. How's training been the last few weeks in preparation for your next fight? And I've been seeing you doing a lot of coaching work at the moment. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, training's going good. I had a bit of time off after my fight. I went and got a hair transplant, so I had a little bit of time off. But I'm back now. A couple of sessions a day, but just ticking over Christmas, and probably out end of Feb, start of March.
Perfect. And I mean, like, sort of just keeping yourself a good schedule and getting everything organised. Obviously, with the whole sort of elevation and platform that you've had in recent months with sort of the MTK banner, how do you see that propelling yourself for next year? Do you see 2019 being a big year for yourself?
Yes, I think it's going to be massive. You know, I mean, I want to get probably six fights next year. So that put us in, the limelight quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that'll take us hopefully to 7-0 next year. But we're going to take each fight as it comes and see what happens. And it being under MTK is just massive at the moment. They're huge. They've got the shows with Box Nation as well. So potential TV slots. So it's huge. It's big.
Yeah, and maintaining that unbeaten record, and like you just said there, stepping up the levels, and once you do get to that sort of 7, 8, 9-0, then to really push on and target major titles. Do you see that as being your objective by the end of next year to maybe get a title shot?
Well, I mean, probably not end of next year, but yeah, start of the following, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to rush it, but I've got complete trust in my trainer. So when he says the time's right and the sort of opportunity and the offer's there, then of course we look to take it, definitely.
Yeah, and talk to me a little bit about that relationship you've got. Obviously smashing the pads and the work you do inside and outside of the gym. Do you see there's a real chemistry in the gym at the moment?
All of us in there at the moment, we're all a similar sort of part of the journey at the moment, and sort of it's like a family vibe in there. We're all so close. We're all at each other's fights to support each other, and it's just such a nice vibe at the moment. I think that sort of helps. Everyone's there to push each other on. Everyone's so positive. And everyone just bounces off each other.
Yeah, and I mean the 147-pound division at welterweight's booming at the moment. Even the British scene, we've got Johnny Garton, British title win over, the win he had a few weeks ago. Just talk to me a little bit about the domestic scene. Obviously,
yeah, I mean it's a huge. I mean worldwide, it's an incredible the weight to be in. And like you say as well, domestically, it's phenomenal, isn't it? At the moment, it's really booming. There's a lot of tough competition out there, and especially in the sort of weights below and weights above. Everyone can move around quite easily, quite quickly.
Yeah.
So it's a very busy time, definitely. So there's a lot of big fights out there to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Did you manage to see the Johnny Garton Gary Corcoran fight by any chance, Jack?
No, I missed it. I missed it actually. I completely missed it. But I watched it back, and it was a great fight. It was a great fight.
Did you see maybe that sort of Garton kind of forced the pace of the fight, and do you see that as kind of being his main advantage going into a fight with Corcoran? Obviously, we've seen Corcoran go over to challenge Jeff Horn, came up short, obviously, but sort of testing himself against, you could argue, at world level against Horn, but then dropping down to domestic level. Did it kind of show sort of that differentiation between British and world level for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there is such a step up in that world level, I think, and there's only a few that can do it. And it's sort of interesting to see those guys sort of making that step.
Yeah, and just to get your opinion on a few fights coming up at welterweight, Jack.
Yeah.
You got Spence-Garcia has been announced. What's your take on that? Who do you see winning that fight?
I think Spence is going to be too strong.
Yeah.
I think, but then I don't know. Garcia always pulls something out of the bag, doesn't he? I mean, his work rate's incredible.
Yeah.
But I think Spence is just he's a strong man. I think he's a strong man.
Yeah.
I think Spence takes it.
So is it
late stoppage?
So late stoppage. Do you think it's one of those fights that kind of, it encapsulates the boxing audience, that is quite a 50-50? No one really knows which way it's going to flow.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the beauty of it, definitely.
Yeah, and another fight, Pacquiao Barton has been announced for January. Another massive fight on Showtime pay-per-view. Who do you see taking that one, Jack?
I think, I mean, sort of seeing Broner in his previous fights to this, I just don't think he's got the work rate to match Pacquiao. I know, obviously, he's aging now, but I think his work rate's going to be too much for Broner.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is a 50 fight. It is a 50-50 fight, of course, but I just can't see him being able to cope with Pacquiao's work rate, and I think Pacquiao takes it on a unanimous decision.
Okay.
What do you think on that one, Tom?
I'm the interviewer, so I only ask the questions for the fighters. It's not about me, Jack. It's about you. So I'll leave it on that one for you. But yeah. No, if I was to give my opinion, I think I'd share the same sort of sentiment that Pacquiao's had a lot more experience at that level, and that he probably will edge it because of Broner's sort of attitude, application. So yeah, I'm kind of swinging towards Pacquiao, but you just never know with Broner. He's very unpredictable. He does carry a bit of power, so it's a great fight.
He does carry a bit of power, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and just talking about your last fight, the Brentwood Centre, Jack, against Sam Amidi. What have you learned? What sort of if you look back at that fight, what's the most important thing you've learned from your debut that you can take into this second fight you've got?
It's given me quite a bit of confidence for the next one as well, because I went and watched Amidi at the show at the weekend, and I saw that he won his fight after that as well.
Yeah.
And then he fought. Who did he fight this weekend? He fought.
He fought on the MTK card, didn't he?
Yeah, he fought on the MTK card. A good prospect coming through who had about 80 amateur fights. Josh Payne, I think his name was.
Yeah, that's correct.
And to be honest, I know Josh Payne's a great fighter, and he gave him a difficult time. It was a 6-round fight, and Josh only won by 2 points.
Yeah.
And it was on, obviously, as he was a home fighter, so to get just a 2-point lead is obviously credit to Amidi. That he put a really, really good fight in against a quality fighter. So that's given me confidence. For the fact that I completely outscored him, outclassed him, that we can go on and do some good things on the next in the next fight. So it's just grown me in confidence for sure.
Yeah, and I think what I was most impressed about watching that fight, Jack, was your maturity. I mean, obviously it being your first fight, you're not used to the spotlight, you're not used to the formats of the 3-minute rounds. But I thought in terms of a shutout victory, I think you could probably label that as a very conclusive shutout victory. The way you went through the gears, you didn't have to necessarily get out a second gear. But you did dictate sort of the range and the use of the jab.
Yeah. That was actually my first 3-minute fight.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. So I'm sort of happy. 3-minute rounds. It was the first time doing that, so I was sort of happy with that. And it's only going to grow from here. Only going to grow in confidence, only going to grow in ability. And I'm working twice as hard in the gym, sort of leading up to the next one. So yeah, I mean it's exciting and. I'm looking at even sort of dropping to light welter as well. So
yeah, Brilliant. I mean, like, in terms of, like we said there earlier about the mix at 147. I mean, the super lightweight division's even red hot itself, and there's some big fights down there. So just to finish off, Jack, I know you've got to get back to training, and you've got a very tight schedule. But what's your take on the Floyd Mayweather stuff, the kickboxing transition that he was hinting at, and even a possible return in May against Pacquiao if he comes through Broner?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Say that again. Sorry, Tom. I was just sorry, mate. Can you say that? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, of course. I was just going to get your take on the Mayweather stuff in Japan with the kickboxer. What you sort of thought of that?
It's a bit of a. I thought it was a bit of a publicity stunt for Mayweather, just to sort of get his name out a little bit more, sort of following or whatever in Asia. But I don't know really. I don't know what was going on there. I was a bit confused by it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the point of it? I don't know. I really don't know. I sort of didn't know what to make of that. I couldn't quite work it out. I thought it was a publicity stunt, but then it sort of just fizzled out quite quickly. So, I was a bit unsure about that, to be honest.
Yeah, so for the Raps on TV audience, do you want to shout out your social media outlets, and also any sponsors you want to give a shout out? Feel free to reel away.
But yeah, just if you sort of want to follow us, it's Jack Dempsey Ewbank on Instagram. That's my main focus, and then it's Ewbank Jack on Twitter. At the moment, I haven't got any current sponsors. Looking to have some sort of next year. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
So to all you nutritionists out there, all you personal trainers, make sure you get onto Jack Dempsey Ewbank and follow the journey. You know, we'll take our attention away from the Ewbanks and focus on Jack's career. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on again, Jack, and I wish you all the best for your next fight.
Thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure talking to you, man. Thanks for taking your time out.
Nice one. Thomas Lyons, Raps on TV, Jack Dempsey Ewbank, all the best.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.